Hello, my name's Elijah Wells, and today the Razzie nominations came out. So, of course, the Razzies are about awarding the worst of cinema, unless it ain't the Oscars going over the BAFTAs where they award films like Nora or Conclave, Brutalist, Emilia Perez, which is a film I actually like. So, yeah. And of course, the Razzies are full of awful movies that I swear will be either probably just be destined for the DVD shelves at the local charity shop. So, here we go for the Razzies. For worst picture, we have Borderlands, Joker, Volley-Do, Madam Web, Megalopolis, and Reagan. Borderlands is basically an adaptation of the video game series of the same name. Well, apparently it's on the same route, let's say Dragon Ball Evolution, as in it adapts the name, the characters, some one or two basics of the world, and that's it. So apparently this is way too loose to the point it doesn't even qualify as Borderlands. Joker Volley-Do, which is what happens when a bunch of executives really overthink the movie to a point where it inspired the incel movement, and everyone who really liked it is a full-blown Andrew Tate supporter, well, before he blew his brains out with cocaine. And of course we have Madam Web, which gives us the horrifying opinion or horrifying thought on everyone's mind. Did Sony make a bad movie on purpose? Like, why? And we have Megalopolis, which is a passion project, which is kind of like pineapples on pizza, as in you're going to really like it or you're going to really hate it. And we have Ronald Reagan, and of course, a movie about was considered one of the most consequential presidents of living memory, gets a movie like, oh, okay, not many presidents get that privilege. Well, okay, Ronald Reagan, but apparently this is basically very propagandistic and just depicts everything that he ever did in positive light. Like, okay, what about the war on drugs and his the botched attempt about the AIDS crisis? But okay, but I think worst picture, I'm hoping it goes to Joker Volley-Do because that movie was absolute trash. But realistically, it's going to go to Madam Web because that movie was basically The Room of superhero movies, except The Room is actually funny and it's actually really good. No, it's actually maybe George of the Jungle 2 of superhero movies, as in it's just very cheaply made, and anyone that watches it will probably lose brain cells from watching it. For worst director, we have S.K. Clarkson for Madam Web, Francis Ford Coppola for Megalopolis, Todd Phillips for Joker Volley-Do, Eli Roth for Borderlands, and Jerry Seinfeld for Unfrosted. I imagine it's going to go to Madam Web or S.K. Clarkson because, again, I am not hearing one good thing about that movie at all. Maybe it could go for Joker Volley-Do, as Todd Phillips did get a massive slot of Oscar nominations for the last movie, and even won the Golden Lion at the Venice Film Festival, and he turned it around by basically being shoveled into whatever this movie is, like being shoveled horse poop. And we have Jerry Seinfeld in his directorial debut. Like, I imagine he may have directed some episodes of Seinfeld or something, but he's making a movie about Frosties. Okay, Frosties. And we have Borderlands director Eli Roth, who's best known for playing the Bear Jew from Inglourious Basterds, and as well as directing horror flicks like In Green Inferno and the Hostile films. And he made a video game adaptation of Borderlands, and it turned out to be poorly. But Madam Web is going to win for worst director, in my opinion. And for worst actor, we have Jack Black for Dear Santa, Zachary Levi for Harold and the Purple Crayon, Joaquin Phoenix for Joker Volley-Do, Dennis Quaid for Reagan, and Jerry Seinfeld for Unfrosted. At least one person did get a reaction out of the Razzies, as in Zachary Levi just put on Twitter that, oh, a lot of great actors do get Razzie nominations, so I treat it as a compliment. Like, well, at least you're taking the nomination on the chin, because you're the only that's Harold's only nomination, or Harold's and the Purple Crayon's nomination, so he's unlikely to win that one. There's also Dennis Quaid for Reagan, when he played the President Ronald Reagan. Well, he was good in the substance, so I don't imagine it'll go to him. There's Joaquin Phoenix for Joker. well, his performance is definitely a highlight in a movie that's already just pure gaslight. There's Jerry Seinfeld. Well, you might win this after your very veiled attempt to be an anti-woke activist, like, ooh, I miss masculine men. And Jack Black as Satan or Santa Claus from Dear Santa. Well, it was a rough year for Jack Black, as in Kung Fu Panda 4 was just really forgettable garbage when I look back at it now. And there's also Borderlands, which he's also been nominated for. There's also his really bizarre reaction about the attempted assassination attempt on Donald Trump, which again got a lot of scrutiny on his half. But again, I imagine may go for maybe Jerry Seinfeld for Unfrosted, but would not be surprised if Jack Black wins for Dear Santa. But I would be surprised if Joaquin Phoenix gets it for a Joker. But I think realistically, Jack Black for Dear Santa or Jerry Seinfeld for Unfrosted will win. For Worst Actress, we have Cate Blanchett for Borderlands. We have Bryce Dallas Howard for Argyle, Dakota Johnson for Madam Web, Lady Gaga for Joker Folie à Deux, Jennifer Lopez for Atlas. Again, I find Cate Blanchett's presence in Borderlands ironic, if you get my hint, as in the movie Tar, or the ending of the movie Tar, just to go into more spoilerific territories for everyone. At the end of the film, she's now in exile from both the music world and in the real world after some very disturbing allegations were made about her. So, since she doesn't quit and she loves music, she ended up getting up a gig at a video game convention, doing a live performance of some video game music with an orchestra, which I find somewhat ironic because her next film is Borderlands, which is a video game movie. So, I wonder what Lydia Tarr would think about Borderlands and the movie itself. There's Argyle, a movie that ended up putting the entire film industry in complete denial of how bad it was, to the point they made conspiracy theories that Taylor Swift, of all people, wrote this movie. Well, talk about denial. There's Madam Web, which is basically a glorified meme factory at this point, and Lady Gaga for Joker Folie à Deux. Well, unfortunately, nope. Just, no. And Jennifer Lopez for Atlas, just like most Netflix movies, I didn't bother watching it. Again, I imagine Dakota Johnson would win for Madam Web, after what went down with Kraven the Hunter, pretty much Sony's attempt to make their own cinematic universe with Spider-Man and supervillains, but doesn't actually have Spider-Man in it, but it kind of is, but Dakota Johnson's going to win for Worst Actress, I meant. For Worst Supporting Actor, we have Jack Black for Borderlands, Kevin Hart, Borderlands, we have Shia LaBeouf for Megalopolis, Tara Rahim for Madam Web, and we have John Voight for Megalopolis, Reagan, Shadowlands, Strangers. Again, imagine being a government official whose acting career was so bad in 1 year that he got nominated not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 different movies. Even though I did defend his performance in Megalopolis, but again, Reagan is somewhat propagandistic from what I've heard, and of course there's Shadowlands and Strangers, which of course neither of them apparently have their own Wikipedia pages. And we have Tareen Rahim for Madam Web, whose performance was so atrocious that ADR essentially took over the performance, and probably he reads lines that sound like they came from ChatGPT. There's Shia LaBeouf, who undoubtedly should be the winner of this one, but I'm not 100% sold on it yet who's going to win for that category, but Shia LaBeouf is basically playing himself in Megalopolis, as in he's acting as himself in this movie, as the weird activist creep who is really weird around women, and he wants to make activism cool and hip again, but he's just a creep all around. There's Kevin Hart for Borderlands, as he's a method actor in this movie, as he plays Kevin Hart in a Borderlands movie, even though from what I've saw from the video games, I imagine this role should have gone to Terry Crews as a much more macho, buffed out guy, but I'm guessing he was busy when filming happened, so it went to Kevin Hart. Because, again, Kevin Hart and Terry Crews are same people, I guess? And Jack Black for Borderlands as Claptrap. Again, even though he does voice in this movie, his performance was pretty much atrocious in this movie, from what I've heard. So, again, I'm hoping Shia LaBeouf wins for Megalopolis, given how really unlikable as he is in this movie, and just how, well, unintentionally unlikable in this movie, and just how creepy he just comes off. But wouldn't be surprised if Jack Black won for Borderlands. For Worst Supporting Actress, we have Ariana DeBose for Argyle and Craven the Hunter, Leslie Ann Down for Reagan, Emma Roberts for Madam Web, Amy Schumer for The Unfrosted, and FKA Twigs for The Crow, the remake, of course, that no one saw. Again, we have Ariana DeBose for Argyle and Craven the Hunter, who's making a very good case why her Oscar for West Side Story should be revoked. We have Leslie Ann Dawn as Margaret Thatcher from Reagan. Like, really? Did Margaret Thatcher die nearly 12 years now for this performance? Just leave it to Meryl Streep, please. We have Emma Roberts as Mary Parker for Madam Web to have a small subplot of how Spider-Man started off as a baby. Well, sorry, Screen Junkies, stole your joke, but yeah. We have Amy Schumer as herself, as in Unfrosted, who, again, if I've watched anything from Amy Schumer, as in she's just a very unlikable comedian who thinks the entire world revolves around her and has main character syndrome, and apparently acts like a full Karen. Well, that's from watching the Sunny documentary about her. We have FKA Twigs, The Crow. Again, I would write a joke about it, but no one saw it, so there's that one for you. But I imagine it's going to go to Amy Schumer for Unfrosted for that one. For Worst Screen Combo, we have any two obnoxious characters, but especially Jack Black for Borderlands, any two unfunny comedic actors in Unfrosted, the entire cast of Megalopolis, Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga for Joker Folie à Deux, Dennis Quaid and Philip and Miller for Reagan. Whew, a lot of really good contenders in this list. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if any two obnoxious characters involving Jack Black is going to be in Borderlands, could be winning for that one, but I hope Megalopolis doesn't win for that one, or Joker, so it does make sense that Borderlands is going to win for that one. Like, imagine how much of a colossal screw up you have to be to put Jamie Lee Curtis, Jack Black, Evan Hart, and Cate Blanchett, despite all somewhat different and versatile actors on her own, and you put them all into a movie, and it pretty much is almost like drinking a smoothie, but only this time each flavour is trying to be way too dominant over each other, and it just leaves a really sour aftertaste. So, for Worst Screen Combo, I'm going with Borderlands. For Worst Remake, Ripoff or Sequel, we have The Crow, The Joker Folie à Deux, Craven the Hunter, Mufasa Lion King, and Rebel Moon 2, The Scargiver. Surprisingly, no Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate, because I did leave a cheeky comment on their YouTube page, like, where's Megamind 2? But someone to point out, like, it's direct to video or direct to streaming, so won't be nominated. But Rebel Moon 2, Scargiver is. Again, I'm going to go with all the films. The Crow remake, which again was just deeply unfortunate, as it did not even make back its somewhat modest $50 million budget and only made back $24 million. Like, not even half of its budget back. Like, I know indie films that probably made its money back. I've made a video about it. There's Joker Folie à Deux, as in, like, how to alienate and just really, really annoy every audience about this movie. And even though I work in a cinema and I watch all these films for free, and I still wanted my money back after watching Joker for free. We live in a society. We have Craven the Hunter, which is the franchise finisher that just ended in a whimper. As in, it's... I think I said in an old video, I think the top participating films of 2023, if I remember correctly, as in, it's basically Morbius, but in a safari skin. And it basically didn't have that much meme juice behind it, and people just ignored it. We have Mufasa, Lion King. Now, I can't wait for the absolute thrashing Snow White remake's gonna have next year. Stay tuned for next year. And Rebel Moon 2's God Giver, like, sure, Zack Snyder, your director's cut is not going to save you out of this one now. As in, yes, as in, like, oh, I've got a big pitch, as in, it's basically for my inspirations of my love for, like, Star Wars and all that, and Star Trek, and all the sci-fi stuff I grew up on, but only this time, I'm going to have a mediocre first cut, but also, I'm going to have a director's cut that's come after it for a longer version of this film, like, good concept, but, I don't know, Martin Scorsese had made a 3.5 hour long movie with a 200 million plus budget. Like, you can go this long, and you can stick to your guns and make a really long movie if you didn't screw up the first time or the second time. But of course, for worst remake, rip-off, sequel, I forgot to mention, it's definitely should go to Joker Folie à Deux for that one. And for worst screenplay, we have Joker Folie à Deux, Kraven the Hunter, Madam Web, Megalopolis, and Reagan. Without matter of doubt, Madam Web should win for worst screenplay. And for doing take, I just coughed up a little bit, so that's why I sound a little bit drier than usual, and I'm a little bit tearing up because really aggressive coughing fit. Because the line in the movie was so bad that it's pretty much iconic. Like he was in the Amazon with my mother researching spiders right before she died. Like, it's now flipping up there with "Are you not entertained?" and "I got an offer you can't refuse," and it's just so much sorts of badness in this movie. Like, even the writing, even everyone and anyone with eyes, ears, mouth, and a nose knows it's probably written by AI. But for one last category, it's the Redeemer Award, as in, for someone that made absolute doo-doo in the past is now redeemed for one brilliant performance. And my nominee should be Demi Moore for The Substance, as in, she did garnered a lot of bad press, particularly in the 90s with films like Striptease and G.I. Jane, which apparently got really mediocre reviews when it came out, but with The Substance being one of the most critically acclaimed movies of the year, and I am backing her for an Oscar win, if she does get nominated tomorrow, of course, but again, she's the definite winner of everyone's hearts and people that use black market drugs, and she should be winning the Redeemer Award from the Razzies. So, what do you think of the Razzie nominations this year? Let me know in the comments down below, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, and Letterboxd. This is Light Rolls, and bye.